Almost everyone agrees on one thing. Mosquitoes are annoying. They buzz around your ears, steal your sleep, leave itchy bites, and in some parts of the world they can spread dangerous diseases. If someone asked you to name the most hated animal on Earth, a mosquito would probably win by a huge margin. But here is the strange part. Despite all that, mosquitoes have survived for more than 100 million years. They existed while dinosaurs still walked the planet. Even stranger, scientists do not see them as completely useless. Some ecosystems actually depend on them. So how can one of the world's most disliked insects also play important roles in nature? And what exactly happens inside the tiny body of a mosquito, from the moment it hatches until it starts flying around your backyard? The answers are far more surprising than most people imagine. Every mosquito begins life in water, not in the air. A female usually lays her eggs on the surface of still water or in places that will eventually flood. Depending on the species, she may lay them one by one or bundle them together into floating rafts containing dozens or even hundreds of eggs. If temperatures are warm enough, those eggs hatch into larvae. These tiny creatures look nothing like flying mosquitoes. Instead, they resemble tiny wriggling worms hanging upside down near the water's surface. They breathe air through specialized tubes, feed constantly on microscopic algae, bacteria, and organic particles, and spend much of their day filtering food from the water. Think of them as underwater vacuum cleaners with an endless appetite. Their entire job is simple: eat, grow, and avoid becoming someone else's lunch. That last part is difficult. Fish, dragonfly nymphs, aquatic beetles, and many other predators love eating mosquito larvae. In many ponds, only a small percentage survive long enough to continue growing. As the larva grows, it sheds its outer skin several times. This process is called molting. Each molt allows the body underneath to expand, preparing for the next stage of development. Then comes one of nature's most remarkable transformations. The larva changes into a pupa. Unlike many insect pupae, mosquito pupae are surprisingly active. They cannot feed anymore, but they can swim with quick flipping movements whenever danger approaches. Inside that tiny floating case, the body is being completely reorganized. Wings develop, long legs appear, compound eyes take shape, muscles strengthen. The insect is literally rebuilding itself. Finally, the adult mosquito emerges. This moment is incredibly risky. The new mosquito climbs onto the water's surface and waits while its wings expand and harden. If a predator strikes now, or the wings fail to dry properly, its life ends before its first flight. But if everything goes well, the mosquito lifts into the air. Its body may be tiny, but it is surprisingly sophisticated. Like all insects, it has three main body sections: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. The head is packed with sensory equipment. Two large compound eyes allow the mosquito to detect movement from many directions at once. Between them are antennae that work like incredibly sensitive chemical detectors. Male mosquitoes have bushier antennae than females. They use them to detect the unique wingbeat frequencies produced by females. It is almost like hearing a personal ringtone in a crowded room. The long mouth part, called the proboscis, is probably the mosquito's most famous feature. But here comes another surprise. Not every mosquito uses it to bite humans. Male mosquitoes never drink blood. Their diet consists mainly of flour, nectar, and other sugary plant liquids. Many female mosquitoes also feed on nectar most of the time. Only females of many species need blood meals before producing eggs. Blood provides proteins and nutrients required for successful egg development. Even then, not every mosquito species prefers humans. Many specialize in birds, reptiles, amphibians, or other mammals. When a female mosquito does bite, the process is far more delicate than it appears. The visible proboscis is actually a protective sheath surrounding several incredibly thin needle-like structures. These pierce the skin, while another tube draws blood. At the same time, saliva enters the wound to help keep blood flowing. That saliva triggers the itchy immune response most people recognize. Behind the head sits the thorax, the mosquito's powerhouse. This section contains the muscles controlling 6 slender legs and 2 transparent wings. Those wings beat hundreds of times every second, creating the familiar high-pitched buzzing sound. Despite their fragile appearance, mosquitoes are surprisingly skilled flyers. They can quickly change direction, hover briefly, and detect air movements that help them avoid danger. The abdomen serves as both storage and processing center. It expands dramatically after a blood meal, sometimes becoming several times its original size. Inside are the digestive system, reproductive organs, and other vital organs working together with remarkable efficiency. One tiny insect. An astonishing amount of engineering. Now comes the question most people rarely ask. If mosquitoes disappeared tomorrow, would the world actually become better? The answer is more complicated than many expect. Mosquito larvae help recycle nutrients in freshwater habitats by feeding on organic material and microorganisms. In doing so, they contribute to nutrient cycling that supports aquatic ecosystems. Those same larvae are also food for countless animals. Fish consume enormous numbers of them. Dragonfly larvae hunt them aggressively. Frogs, salamanders, aquatic insects, and other predators depend on them as part of their diets. Adult mosquitoes continue serving as prey after leaving the water. Birds, bats, dragonflies, spiders, lizards, and many other animals catch flying mosquitoes whenever they get the chance. Mosquitoes also contribute to pollination. Because both males and females regularly feed on nectar, they transfer pollen between certain flowering plants. They are not nearly as efficient as bees or butterflies, but they still play a supporting role in some ecosystems, especially in colder northern environments, where other pollinators may be less abundant. Even mosquito research has benefited humanity. Scientists study mosquito biology to better understand disease transmission, insect behavior, genetics, immunity, and methods for controlling harmful populations while reducing environmental damage. Of course, none of this changes one important reality. Some mosquito species spread serious diseases such as malaria, dengue, yellow fever, Zika, and West Nile virus. These illnesses continue affecting millions of people worldwide, making mosquito control a major public health priority. That is why scientists do not aim to eliminate every mosquito on Earth. Instead, many efforts focus on controlling the relatively small number of species responsible for transmitting dangerous diseases while minimizing harm to other parts of the environment. Nature rarely creates simple heroes or villains. The mosquito is a perfect example. It can be a dangerous disease carrier, an irritating backyard visitor, a pollinator, a food source, and an important link in freshwater ecosystems, all at the same time. So the next time you hear that familiar buzz near your ear, you probably will not feel grateful, and honestly, nobody expects you to. But behind that tiny sound is an insect with an extraordinary life cycle, an amazingly efficient body, and a surprisingly complicated place in nature. Sometimes the creatures we dislike the most turn out to be the ones that teach us the biggest lesson. In nature, even the smallest lives can have much larger stories than we ever imagined.